What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a few days now since the Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth trailer. Everyone's had plenty of time to break that down and analyse it and, give their 2 pence worth of what's going on and what we can expect. And something that got me thinking afterwards is like when we're likely to see some more content, some more trailers, some more information. And also wanted to take another look at that release date because I don't think it's set in stone that it's going to be December 2023, and I'll let you know why in this video. But yeah, we're going to look at obviously when we can expect more information, maybe some more trailers, maybe what will be in those trailers as well, and also take another look at that release date. Anyway, if you do like today's Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth video, please hit that like button for me. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And with that being said, let's mosey. So yeah, finally we got the release of the next installment of the Final Fantasy 7 remake series named Rebirth. And let's face it, it's been a long time coming. We've been sitting patiently waiting for some information, and I think it was welcomed by the whole community. But I just wanted to talk today briefly on the potential schedule of obviously trailer releases, information drops, things like that, because there are a few dates coming up which I'd be very surprised if Square Enix weren't at in general, and I'll be very surprised now if they weren't using obviously all their resources to promote both Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16, and the other games like Ever Crisis and Crisis Core Reunion, because they've got plenty on their plate to obviously promote. And if we take a look at the Final Fantasy 7 remake schedule and when they release trailers, it obviously goes back to 2015 when we first got a look at it again, not long after that. But what is more important is the 3 trailer and information announcements leading up to obviously the remake coming out. So E3 2019, Tokyo Game Show 2019, and the Game Awards in 2019. And obviously the game eventually came out in April 2020, even though it had a 10th of March release date 2020. And if we take a look at the E3 2019 date, it was the 11th of June, and then as we know, obviously E3 was cancelled this year, but Square Enix had the 25th anniversary on the 16th of June, and they obviously released the trailer for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. So the Tokyo Game Show was on the 11th of September 2019, when we got another trailer on the remake front, and then obviously this year's Tokyo Game Show is between the 15th and 18th of September, so similar time frame. And finally, the Game Awards 2019 was the 13th of December. This year, it's a live stream on the 9th of December. And, it's just got me thinking of these opportunities for Square Enix to promote not just Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, but obviously Final Fantasy 7 16, as I said before, Ever Crisis, and obviously Crisis Core Reunion. They're going to want to be in these shows. They're going to be wanting to have some promotional campaigns leading up to obviously all these titles coming out. And, if they're going to show one of these 4 off, they've openly admitted now that they've got 4 projects that will coincide together, so it'd be very silly for them to not promote all 4 of them. So if, for instance, we did get a trailer on the 15th to 18th of September at the Tokyo Game Show this year, and we did get some Rebirth content, it makes me think, what might we get? So firstly, I think we'll get more of the Nibelheim flashback, a bit of fleshing out on that point, a bit more to it, maybe a few more screenshots of Mount Nibel, maybe even the reactor, and maybe, what happens within that moment between obviously Cloud, Zack, and Tifa. We would 100% get a first look at Calm, I think, the size, the scale of obviously the way they're going to implement the towns. Maybe a first look at the world map. I'm not too sure if we'll be open world at this point. I'm not too sure if they're going to save that for part 3. I'm hoping the part 2 isn't linear, but if we did get a look at the world map, if there was one, that would be also something they may show off. And then there's new characters. I think we definitely see Eleanor from the Turks. We see her as soon as we get into the Mithril Mine, so that is not far after obviously Calm. And yeah, I think that would be plenty from a trailer in September. We're only talking 3 months away. And then the Game Awards 2019, as I say, was on the 13th of December. This year, it is an online stream on the 9th of December. And, if we were to get something for that as well, maybe we could get a first look at some of the other towns, the Costa del Sol, Cosmo Canyon. I want to see what the Gold Saucer looks like. That has got me so intrigued of how they're going to implement that, because if they make it big enough and obviously give us enough stuff inside the Gold Saucer to do, it's stuff that they can add later on down the line, new games, new items, daily, weekly objectives. It's something that could keep the community ticking over in between parts. And, you know, finally we could maybe see Sid, because obviously we do know that his motion actor has been posting on social media. Well, we assume it's Sid's motion actor, especially when Rocket Town will feature in Rebirth. You know, at that point of the story, we'd obviously have already met Kate Sith, Vincent, and a whole bunch of obviously non-playable characters. So yeah, you know, it's really interesting to see what we potentially get this year. And also, you know, if these things are true, if we are going to get information in September, if we are going to get information in December following the same suit as obviously the remake, then it does make me also question Katase's post when he says exactly 3 years since the remake that the Rebirth will be released, because obviously a lot of us see next winter and just assume, you know, December 2023. I think everybody's kind of convinced that's going to be the case, especially when they're saying this winter for Crisis Core Reunion. But what if it's maybe lost in translation a bit, and when he means next winter, he literally just means next year, still in the winter period? Because if these dates are anything to go off, you know, of obviously the June dates for E3 and the 25th anniversary stream, the Tokyo Game Show being at the same time this year, the Game Awards being the same time this year, it's kind of all a carbon copy of a March release date, early March, which would be winter 2023 technically, and it would be next year, so ultimately it could still be next winter. But I know it's a long shot, but I've just thought I'd highlight that because I don't think anybody's kind of took the remakes model into consideration of how they went about promoting it before the release. And, you know, it'd be interesting if you think this theory is plausible in the comments below. As I say, I understand people talk about winter 2023 being obviously the back end of the year, but it is just that post by Katase saying approximately 3 years after that still has me thinking we could see this game March 2023. I live in hope. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, if you did like today's video, please hit the like button, as I say. Subscribe for more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth content. And yeah, that's the video.